A former Loveland police officer who assaulted 73-year-old Karen Garner 2 years ago will spend time in prison. We begin with shocking video showing a Miami police officer slamming a handcuffed woman to the ground, leaving her unconscious.
The chief of police in Aurora, Colorado is apologizing after a brutal arrest captured on the body cameras of two officers.
A Griffin police officer was completely cleared after his wife was found shot in the head with his duty weapon.
Across Georgia, across the country, hundreds of law enforcement officers have been charged with committing sex crimes on and off duty in recent years.
Officer Daniel Holdsclaw is preying on those he's sworn to serve and protect.
51-year-old Todd Allen, a 20-year veteran of the force, charged with 24 counts of sex crimes, many taking place while he was still in uniform.
And a Popka police officer faces a drunk driving charge tonight after he was pulled over on the 4th of July for reckless driving in full uniform in his police cruiser.
New video tonight showing the Lake Angeles police chief failing a roadside sobriety test and arrested.
New video of an off-duty NYPD officer allegedly driving drunk.
We're also following a developing story involving the arrest of a Miami police officer.
Detroit police barge into a home, guns drawn, but now they admit they had the wrong house.
The sheriff of a North Georgia county and a city police officer threatened to arrest each other.
Former sheriff's deputy was charged with 67 counts of racketeering, fabricating evidence, false imprisonment, and possession of controlled substances.
The video of a white police officer forcibly pushing a black teenage girl to the ground that's gone viral. We begin with several Detroit police officers now under investigation.
Tonight, two former officers charged with fatally shooting an unarmed black man.
A crooked cop is caught in the act on his own body camera video.
Next time you get pulled over and the cop asks you, "Why you look so nervous, son?" Give him a link to this compilation video where cops act like criminals while they're out there claiming to be protecting and serving the rest of us. Welcome to the Here's the Deal channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and if you like this video, give it a like and share it with everybody you know. Roll the intro.
But here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
So here's the deal.
And here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. Because here's the deal.
Here's the deal. Either give me your ID or you go to jail. How about that?
Catch me outside. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Here's the deal.
In pursuit of a Mazda heading south on 3 Points Road.
A former Loveland police officer who assaulted 73-year-old Karen Garner 2 years ago will spend time in prison. A judge sentenced Austin Hopp in a courtroom filled with Garner's family and friends today.
You just left Walmart. Do you need to be arrested right now?
The disturbing story began on June 26, 2020. That's when Loveland police officer Austin Hopp stopped 73-year-old Karen Garner as she was heading home from a nearby Walmart. Garner, who suffers from dementia, forgot to pay for about $14 worth of items. Less than 30 seconds after he stopped her, Hopp twisted Garner's arm behind her back and took her to the ground, breaking and dislocating her arm in the process. He was then seen and heard on surveillance video at the police station, bragging and laughing about the arrest. In court on Thursday, Hopp said he accepted full responsibility for his, quote, horrible actions that day. He said he was truly sorry for what he did and for the pain and suffering he caused Garner and her family.
We begin with shocking video showing a Miami police officer slamming a handcuffed woman to the ground, leaving her unconscious.
And the rough arrest now set to go before a civilian investigative panel.
Because of the actions of that officer, he is no longer employed here at the Miami Police Department.
The chief of police in Aurora, Colorado is apologizing after a brutal arrest captured on the body cameras of two officers. The footage was released yesterday, and we want to warn you, it is disturbing. Kyle Vinson was arrested Friday on an outstanding warrant charge. Within minutes, he was left beaten and bloodied, saying he was fighting for his life. Officer Haubert faces multiple felony charges, including second-degree assault and attempted first-degree assault. Another officer on the scene, Francine Martinez, faces misdemeanor charges for failing to intervene or report the use of force.
A Griffin police officer was completely cleared after his wife was found shot in the head with his duty weapon. But that's just the beginning of the story. In the end, a whistleblower will discover the police don't like it when you try to prove one of their own is breaking the law.
Happening tomorrow, jury selection is scheduled to begin in the trial of a now former East Point police officer accused of sexual assault while on the job.
Richard Goodine insists he is innocent of all charges. As John Sherrick explains, Goodine's sex crimes case is one of hundreds in recent years involving officers all across the country.
Across Georgia, across the country, hundreds of law enforcement officers have been charged with committing sex crimes on and off duty in recent years. How many? The FBI is not able to keep track because most local law enforcement will not report sex crime info involving their own officers. But researchers at Bowling Green State University have compiled one of the most comprehensive police crime databases in the country, and they report that serious cases of police sexual violence are not isolated events. The most recent numbers available show that according to the study, during the decade between 2005 and 2014, there were 462 known cases of officers charged with forcible rape, 11 of them in Georgia. And there were 206 known cases of officers charged with statutory rape, 8 of them in Georgia. In the case of Richard Goodine, 2 of his 4 alleged victims were minors at the time, and again he is pleading not guilty. Coincidentally, the report found that nationwide, almost 1/2 of the known victims of police officers were children.
Since the study, the use of body cams and dash cams has skyrocketed, and the expectation is that they are reducing officer-involved sex crimes and exonerating officers who have been falsely accused. As it is, what happened to all those officers who were accused of sex crimes during the time of the researchers' study? The report found that the officers were convicted in 80% of the cases.
In the heart of Tornado Alley in 2014, Oklahoma has an easy year, less than 20 twisters. But in Oklahoma City, the police department is getting slammed with a man-made disaster.
Oklahoma City police confirmed they are investigating this claim.
The force rocked by allegations against one of its own. Officer Daniel Holdsclaw is preying on those he's sworn to serve and protect.
For someone to use the badge and the gun to just do the most demeaning thing to a human being, it's infuriating.
Officer Daniel Holdsclaw is in custody tonight with several women coming forward claiming to be his victim.
Tonight, a former Kansas police officer appearing in court, accused of a string of disturbing crimes.
To go over the evidence that the state has against you.
51-year-old Todd Allen, a 20-year veteran of the force, charged with 24 counts of sex crimes, many taking place while he was still in uniform.
An arrest almost a decade in the making, sending shockwaves through the Hutchinson Police Department.
I am appalled and disgusted that somebody who is a suspect in these type of crimes and this type of behavior ever wore the uniform and this badge that I am honored to pin on my chest every day.
Hutchinson Police Chief Jeffrey Hooper says in late 2018, just weeks into his tenure, a sexual assault occurred at a city park. Hooper says he then learned that assault was related to a string of assaults that had taken place in Hutch since 2012. That's when he decided to hold the first public press conference on the issue.
You never know what type of information may actually break the case for us.
Chief Hooper says shortly after that press conference 4 years ago, longtime patrol officer Todd Allen resigned. From May 2019 to June 2022, the PD then received several prowler and window peeping calls. Investigators determining those calls and the sexual assaults were related.
They were able to put those cases together, forward that information, and work with the district attorney's office.
The DA's office filing charges against Allen Wednesday. He was arrested hours later. Chief Hooper says the department believes there could be more victims out there.
We haven't had the opportunity to contact all the victims at this point, I don't believe. We have nothing if we don't take care of our victims in our community, and so I think that's the most important piece here, and I would encourage anybody to come forward and let the district attorney's office be their voice of justice.
And a Apopka police officer faces a drunk driving charge tonight after he was pulled over on the 4th of July for reckless driving in full uniform in his police cruiser.
Watch 2's Amanda Dukes reports investigators say the officer's blood alcohol level was actually almost 4 times the legal limit when he was arrested in Eustis.
So can you just put your hands on the roof for me?
Body camera video shows Eustis police stopping 25-year-old Apopka police officer Oscar Mayorga around 6 p.m. on July 4th. Witnesses had reported Mayorga had been driving his police cruiser recklessly on 441. One of those witnesses followed him.
All over the road, stopping in the middle of the street, off the road.
As police talk with Mayorga, he slurs his words and struggles with his balance. He tells them he was scheduled to work the night shift.
Hey, if you work nights, where are you going right now?
I have to work
Eustis police say they found an open container of beer in the cup holder of Mayorga's car. Initially, Mayorga is heard telling them he suffers from seizures and had taken several Benadryl but had not been drinking alcohol.
There is an open container of alcohol in your vehicle. Have you been drinking at all today?
No, that's maybe 3 days old.
Okay. I smell the alcohol coming from your breath.
Police had EMS check Mayorga out.
Are you going to go to the hospital?
I mean, I guess so.
Do you want to go?
Not really, but...
Mayorga refused transport to the hospital, and according to the arrest affidavit, he then admitted to drinking 3 tall boys of beer 2 hours earlier. He also said he was driving back towards Eustis because he decided he was in no condition to go to work. Police say a breathalyzer measured his blood alcohol content at almost 0.4, 4 times the legal limit. He was arrested on a charge of DUI and booked into the jail on $1,000 bond.
New video tonight showing the Lake Angeles police chief failing a roadside sobriety test and arrested. And it's at the center of the case charging Mike Farley with drunken driving.
7 Action News reporter Jim Kirchner joins us live now with a possible new charge that could affect his job. Jim.
Yeah, Carolyn, the court register shows only one charge, operating under the influence. Not on this, possessing a handgun while under the influence. Now, the police chief up in Kego Harbor, where this arrest was made, tells me that was a discretionary decision by his officer out on the scene.
I just called the boss, told him to do my thing.
The officer had apparently been in contact with a supervisor or the chief, and he knew the man he stopped was Lake Angeles Police Chief Mike Farley. He had a loaded gun in the console next to him.
Yeah, a weapon in the car. You have a weapon in the car. Where is it at, sir? Don't reach for it, obviously.
4 roadside sobriety tests are given. A step-by-step that shows Farley wobbly.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
And standing on 1 foot and counting.
1,200. Come on up. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair enough. Okay. We do this way? Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
After flunking 3 tests, out comes the breathalyzer.
Got to wrap your lips around the straw.
The test results are displayed.
You're a .155, almost twice the legal limit, sir.
Farley gave several sarcastic comments during this exchange.
Really appreciate that.
The cuffs are put on and the chief is under arrest.
Don't pull away from me, sir. Come on. Let go of me. Don't do that, please. Okay? Don't do that. I'm not resisting you. Well, you're pulling away from me.
Aurora police knew their colleague was drunk when they found him blacked out behind the wheel of his patrol car on duty. They even said so. That was captured on newly released body camera. The officer kept his job after a demotion, and the police chief in Aurora has defended the other officers who made sure that the case was not handled as a drunk driving investigation.
It's the middle of the afternoon on March 29th.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
And there's a Ford Taurus in the middle of Mississippi Avenue.
There's a guy passed out in his car, it looks like, in the median.
One woman calls 911, and then another.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
The car is not moving.
I pulled over, there's a vehicle that's kind of in the middle of the road, and there's a man inside who's not responsive, and it's a police officer.
It's a police officer? So where exactly
are you? It's a police officer.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, I'll let you in. Aurora police officer Nate Meyer
we got you. Hold on, he might have
is passed out drunk. Sure even as an officer leans over broken glass in the passenger seat, starts to remove his jacket, and reaches for his duty belt. Meyer doesn't seem to move. He remains slumped over, chin to his chest, hand still on the wheel of his unmarked patrol car.
Where's this duty arm?
We got it.
Okay. 3 of the officers on scene say there was a faint smell of alcohol on Meyer's breath.
Yeah, bro, you're gonna be good.
They didn't know at the time his blood alcohol level was more than 5 times the legal limit.
He's a little intoxicated.
Fellow officers didn't ask for a blood test. Meyer was not charged, and he's back on duty, like he was on that day in March.
The Aurora police officers who responded smelled alcohol, noted that their blacked out colleague was intoxicated, that those officers did not have his blood alcohol level tested. They knew what that meant. Their decision ensured that prosecutors would not have the evidence if prosecutors wanted to charge their fellow officer.
New video of an off-duty NYPD officer allegedly driving drunk. This was the scene Monday night as the officer appears to drive erratically on Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn. He hit another vehicle, briefly stopped, and then took off again. The driver is identified as 28-year-old Officer Tanvir Ahmed. Other drivers followed until Ahmed eventually stopped.
Take the keys out the car and get the out the car. If we try to stop you for blocks. Wow, he's a cop from the 6-7. Oh, my God.
Ahmed is charged with driving while intoxicated, leaving the scene of an accident and assault. He's been suspended by the NYPD.
We're also following a developing story involving the arrest of a Miami police officer. Officer Jeffrey Marcano faces DUI and drug possession charges. Acting on a tip, we've learned the Internal Affairs Anti-Corruption Unit started surveilling him. Detectives say they caught him drinking in Brickell earlier this morning and stopped him before he was about to get into his marked patrol car. Now, the arrest form goes on to say investigators, quote, observed the defendant's eyes were bloodshot red and the strong odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from his person. The defendant retrieved 2 small plastic bags containing an unknown substance, then dropped the bags containing suspected powder cocaine behind his back. Marcano has been on the force for 8 years, and the department issued this statement saying, in part, the member has been arrested and suspended without pay pending the criminal outcome. The integrity of the Miami PD will not be compromised by anyone that would act in a manner that brings dishonor to our department, erodes public trust, and tarnishes the badge.
Detroit police barge into a home, guns drawn.
My sons had to see me get handcuffed and, get treated like a criminal when I didn't do anything.
But now they admit they had the wrong house. So officers were after an identity theft ring this morning in Oak Park.
And they arrived at a duplex, tried to break down the door before realizing they were at the wrong place. Police busted out the glass as the homeowner tried to keep them out, thinking someone was breaking into his home.
We're popping.
Dude, door section.
Oh, this ain't working.
All right. Knife in his hand?
Knife in his hand. Watch crossfire, watch crossfire.
Newly released body camera footage shows the moments leading up to the death of 22-year-old Christian Glass, who was shot and killed by police during what may have been a mental health crisis.
Inside the city or out here?
Just right here.
Okay.
Go pull the video at Valero. You get on my traffic stop again, I will arrest you.
Yeah, I'll arrest you right now.
Do it, buddy.
And we're going to
do it.
Charges against your ignorance.
Do it, Ode.
Go for it.
Do it. There's cameras at Valero and there's cameras at Napa that seems to be pulled out.
Shut your mouth.
You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your boy.
Talk to you, boy. You a boy.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Down 302, status check.
Info.
Mother.
Wow, how rowdy is that? The sheriff of a North Georgia county and a city police officer threatened to arrest each other in the middle of a traffic stop. The Hiawassee officer's body cam caught the heated exchange.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
First up, we head to Jackson County, Florida, for the trial of Zachary Wester. The former sheriff's deputy was charged with 67 counts of racketeering, fabricating evidence, false imprisonment, and possession of controlled substances.
The video of a white police officer forcibly pushing a black teenage girl to the ground that's gone viral has sparked national outrage. Many see it as the latest example of excessive force by police.
We begin with several Detroit police officers now under investigation. Thanks for joining us for 7 Action News at 6.
Tonight, 2 former officers charged with fatally shooting an unarmed black man.
On Friday, the city of Lawton, Oklahoma released edited body camera video that appears to show 29-year-old Quadri Sanders shot by Nathan Ronan and Robert Hinkle in December while his hands appear to be up.
A man who could have been sent to prison for years based on claims in a police report was saved by a home surveillance camera. The footage showed he did not attack an officer as claimed in the report. ITV investigator Adam Walser spoke to the Lake Wales man and hears from local leaders who say it's not the first time they've heard complaints about heavy-handed policing in their small town.
Chris Cordero was driving to Publix February 8th to pick up medicine for his young son when Lake Wales police officer Colt Black pulled him over. Unbeknownst to the officer, a camera across the street captured it all.
I get out the vehicle to ask him what's going on because, he's been following me for a while.
Cordero stands by his car for more than 20 seconds, but Officer Black's report says Cordero immediately exited the driver door and began to charge towards my patrol vehicle.
It says right here in this report this officer filed in the court that you came at him with clenched fists.
That's absolutely not true.
Officer Black approaches Cordero 30 seconds later.
He sucker punched me from the back right here, cracked a piece of my tooth out. I landed on the ground.
A crooked cop is caught in the act on his own body camera video. The key piece of evidence led to the conviction of a former MTSU police officer just this month.
Now, the case started with a missing AR-15, and as News Channel 5's Nick Barris shows us, it ended with an elaborate sting, all caught on camera.
Police body cams will often capture acts of criminal activity. Now, in this case, that's exactly what happened, but with a twist. The criminal turned out to be the officer, and yes, he was caught by video from his own body camera. This is former MTSU officer Marco Burke's body cam video as he approaches an abandoned vehicle on campus last year. What he doesn't know is that this is a sting to see what Burke would do when tempted.
What really is called an integrity test.
Chief Buddy Peaster suspected that Burke had stolen an AR-15 from an MTSU police locker, but he couldn't prove it. So Murfreesboro police set a bait car on campus along with some hidden cameras. Officer Burke was sent alone to investigate the abandoned vehicle. Watch as he zeroes in on a bottle of pills, which he pockets. Then Burke also grabs $1,100 cash and another bottle of pills. Moments later, he reports nothing unusual to dispatch.
Just the vehicle is unoccupied. That's it.
And here, back in his squad car, you can hear Burke shuffling papers, possibly counting the money he's just taken.
The key was he going to report these items as being part of the inventory of things taken from that car?
Burke did not, and he was arrested. He then made this call to his wife from the Rutherford County Jail.
I got caught up in something, and I got in trouble. I know what I did. He did his thing, and I got caught. I'm so embarrassed.
The hidden cameras set by police for the sting showed Burke at the car from a distance, but it's his body cam video that did the real damage at trial. Why would he leave the camera on?
I think it was a habit, out of training, that he just, out of habit, turned it on and just wasn't thinking about it.
Before trial, prosecutors pressed Burke about what happened to the AR-15. He denied ever taking the gun and was never charged. The weapon has not been recovered.
Those kinds of things.
But Chief Peaster says the sting still worked, exposing an officer who had gone bad.
Hey, thanks for taking your time to watch this video. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give this video a like, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I will see you guys in the next video.